if you do jihad for the sake of Allah. The Holy Promise declares it unequivocally. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى نَصْرِهِمْ لَقَدِيرٌ. To whomsoever He permits to fight the enemy because they have been attacked in the name of religion, God promises them that He will make them emerge victorious. What happened in the case of Israel? Did they gain territory or continuously kept losing territory after territory? Show me the sign of a successful jihad. Did the same thing happen to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Certainly not. The Arabs are far more in number than the Israelites are. To begin with, the difference of power was very little. But continuously, as they fought the Israelites in the name of Islam and jihad, they constantly lost territory, name, power, and they were disgraced. To the extent that after a long war or a continuous series of battles with them, the Arab leadership had to swallow the insult and declare that, all right, we accept Israel even in its expanded territorial occupation. Is that right or wrong? It is right, of course.
Yeah.
But did it happen in the case of jihad of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Most certainly not. Within a matter of less than 10 years, he became the undisputed sovereign of the whole of Arabia, not in state but through Arabia accepting Islam. And when Islam confronted the big superpowers on the right and on the left, that is Iran, and on the north and left Roman Empire, whenever they fought with them, who became victorious? The Muslims. Small, insignificant Arabs who were looked down upon by the Iranians as nonentity, meaningless things. For hundreds of years, the Iranians had been invading them and imprisoning them and making them slaves, and there was no response from the poor defenseless Arabs. But when Islam came, and when the same empire dared to invade the Islamic world, the defensive war which ensued seemed to be completely one-sided in favor of Islam. This is jihad. This proves beyond a shadow of doubt that inna Allah ala nasrihim laqadir. When God permits anyone to fight in His name, He supports the cause, and even if the party is weak, God makes it emerge victorious. Is it the same thing happening here today in the world of Islam? Show me. What happened between the war, during the war of Iraq, Gulf crisis? Who was hiding whom? 10 Muslim powers were united under the Islamic canopy of America and the United Europe to fight one single Muslim country. And there was not one Muslim country which supported Iraq or dared to support Iraq. Is that right or wrong? Is this the same Islam which was brought by Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Why don't you see things with your own open eyes? There is a difference of antipodes between the two. So the Mahdi or the Messiah was to come, as he came, to launch the spiritual jihad of victory for the sake of Islam over other religions, not over other territories. Now this is a very important point, after which, when I speak of this, then I'll stop. You see, the Holy Quran has not mentioned that in future God will make Islam victorious territorially. But it says, لَيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. That a time would come when the faith of Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be made victorious over all other faiths. Deen kullihi. It doesn't say the countries, all of them, or the continents, all of them. So this prophecy we are seeing being fulfilled through Ahmadiyyat with the grace of Allah. Everywhere the Ahmadis are taking up the cudgel for Islam in a spiritual battle, and all of us are involved. It is not that we are waiting for some oil-rich Muslim state to dole out some money to do the jihad. We are doing it with our own, in our own selves first. We have a jihad with ourselves. When we have victory and make ourselves Muslims, then we launch this movement. Every Ahmadi who is a true Ahmadi is involved in this. He pays from his own pocket the expenditure required for this jihad. He offers his life, his time, his services, in whatever capacity is. And this is the grand jihad of Islam is being fought before your very eyes. You know, in your country, there are large territories which were idolatrous or Christians, which have been converted now with the grace of Allah to Ahmadiyya. If you want more information, we can supply you. You can go there and check up yourself. So this jihad is a universal jihad which is being fought with the sacrifices of the Ahmadis who are involved in this jihad. Okay? Jazakumullah. Is there a last question after the last? Could there be a last question?
One actuality question about...
No, just a minute. What I said was, could there be a last question after the last?
Yeah, the last after the last, yeah. the last.
Not in my dictionary, please.
The last.
When you say last, it was last.
Yeah.
During the previous question, you said, this is my last question. Let it be last, please.
No, the last question.
No. The last has already been asked and answered.
No, I think no.
I think so, yeah.
This is...
What about these?
The last.
Have they not come to ask questions themselves, some of them? You see, we should be just to their time as well, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're not from Ivory Coast, are you?
No, I'm from Zambia.
From the Gambia?
Zambia.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is rather a moral question, and it goes like this. If I'm a mother of two sons, of which one is severely handicapped and terminally ill.
Would you kindly repeat this part, please?
That if I'm a mother of two sons and one of them is terminally ill and needs a 24 hours care a day, it's like on a life support machine and ventilator. And I find myself spending more time with the handicapped child, such that the healthy child is always neglected. And if I decide to discontinue the treatment of the terminally ill child and let that child die so that I can take care of the healthy child, have I committed a sin or not?
You see, this is not a question which is rightly framed. You are talking of a child who is already dead. Because when you declare somebody is clinically dead, it means if you prolong the so-called life, it is only the vegetative growth in him. It's a vegetation, just a piece of vegetation. It has already crossed the barriers between life and death. So this is a useless, meaningless effort to try to fight out the decree of Allah, which will not change. Submit. And therein lies your peace. But submit to the will of Allah and accept as it a decree.
Having said that, this same issue has raised a lot of moral questions, and people have been prosecuted for that.
No. In this case, none has ever been prosecuted. If the medical opinion declares it clearly that a case is terminally ill and it is only supported on life machine, they cannot withdraw the support without the permission of the parents. That is the only issue.